Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Y'all, red.olaughlin here today. This is Talking Heads, and we're continuing along our journey on really getting ourselves prepared mentally to make changes for the better for 2025. So the healthy things that we need to be doing or some of the unhealthy things that we should avoid. Let's begin that process. Now, we've already begun the process for the mindset, and the mindset is super critical, but regardless, it's something that we really need to do. And if you want success, there's a lot of things we can do with that. The program today, get loaded up here very briefly, but we're on Amazon Fire, on Zizzle, on E360 TV, YouTube. It's a live streaming show, and we also have some podcasts that come out after the fact. So with that, let me go ahead and get started on my program today. I'm a researcher, never been in the medical or pharmaceutical fields. I fell in love with chemistry many, many years ago in high school. Got a degree in chemistry, got an invitation to Vietnam, never had a chance to practice chemistry until literally about 8 years ago. My wife had breast cancer, and I put my chemistry hat on and went back and started looking, well, how can I help in some of the areas that she was having problems with? So with that being said, I picked back up my passion for chemistry and started researching the human body at the cellular level, chemically speaking. What causes things to happen? And if I can stop something from happening or speed something up, depending on what it is, then I at least have some impact. So with that being said, I can do something that will make a change for the better. If I treat a cause of a problem, chances are I can generally make some change. But if I have a symptom and all I'm doing is treating the symptom, putting a Band-Aid on day and night, I am not fixing the cause that symptom is being treated for. And the cause can be worse until you don't know what's going on at all. Anyway, as always, this presentation is for awareness and education. Okay, let's move on here. Most of the material in the first part of the sections we've done 2 or 3 weeks prior to this is, I guess we're episode 4. So the first 3 weeks, most of the information came out of my book, No Matter What You Can Do It. It's Dr. Maxwell Maltz's Psychocybernetics, about how do we talk to our subconscious brain that's in charge of about 95% of everything we ever do, all the changes we make, all the decisions we adhere to. So moving right along. Okay, so we're talking about 2025. Just down the road, but now less than 3 months. What are you changing, and why are you changing it? That's probably critical for a mindset. If I want to lose weight, and I've tried it every year for the last 20 years, and I'm getting worse each time, I'm weighing 40 pounds more than I did 10 years ago. There's part of our subconscious brain that will help you or will thwart just about anything you're doing. And that's what we've talked about in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So if there's something that I have done a few times before and I've had success, great. Absolutely great. Continue doing it, because your subconscious mind will help you succeed again. But if there are things that we've done and failed, the subconscious mind will tell you, nope, I'm not going to let you fail again. Failing in this particular case means, let's say, losing weight. The goal, not necessarily the aspect of failing, because the subconscious mind's primary mission in life is to prevent harm from occurring to you. So we need to look at restructuring or reframing the wording we're using. So if I want to lose weight, well, maybe a better way of saying it is I want to lose inches. That's not the same thing that we've said before, but it's going to result in the same end result. So anyway, look at the wording you're using, because there are things you can say and things you should not say. But some of the reasons we want to lose weight, let's just use that one, is look better, feel better, perform better, maybe even reduce some of the prices on clothes that we buy, reduce the risk of disease, be better prepared for a healthy retirement. A lot of reasons why, and those are critical, because if I have a really decent reason why I'm doing something, it's kind of in the back of my mind. That's going to help the process. I use the word, what do I expect? Expect is one of the words that talks to our subconscious mind. A lot of people would say, what do I need? What do I want? Well, I want incremental change. I don't want to be, let's say I'm smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I'm not, but let's just say that. The expectation I want is in 30 days to be down 0. So if I know if I can cut back 3 or 4 cigarettes a day incrementally over time, maybe in 2 months, I am totally free of smoking. If I wanted to lose weight, I don't want to lose 40 pounds in 2 months. It comes off fast. It may come back just as quick. So I want to look at an expectation. And an expectation is different than a want. And the expectation ties right into that subconscious mind. How can I achieve that expectation incrementally? Our happiness is tied to a lot of our expectations. If our expectations are up here and we don't make it, we're generally unhappy. We're dissatisfied. We're not a happy camper. But if my expectations are here and I exceed them on a regular basis, I'm successful, I'm happy, I'm satisfied, and I'm going to continue to do the same thing. So incremental changes are what we're looking at. Now, what do I want for 2025? I broke it down to a maximum of 3. I want to get rid of this turkey neck that I have here. It's not something that's appealing, I think, on TV or just in general. I want to improve my balance. I know that as people get older, there's a tendency for tripping, falling, injury. Sometimes they're relatively easy to fix, but they can be painful. The time to recover is there. And I want visceral fat reduction. In other words, my gut fat, the fat that's underneath it, that's between my subcutaneous fat and the fat that's right up against my organs. So that's something I've never done before. I've lost weight fairly easily a couple, 3 or 4 times, but I'm looking at things that are going to help me from a health perspective. So this is a cosmetic issue, but it's also a health respect to losing some fat. And ironically, when I lose fat for my Navy physicals, when I used to fly, I could go out and exercise and do all sorts of stuff. But when they did a neck to waist measurement to find out if I was a fat body or not, I would I would lose inches in my neck faster than I would lose inches in my gut. And it just became an issue. Okay, fine. If I lose weight, this is the first place I'm going to lose it. Doesn't necessarily get rid of the hanging turkey neck, but around the neck is where I lose weight. So part of understanding the system. As I said, I picked a maximum of 3. I want to make incremental changes to 3, not 13 or 15 or 20. Let's show some success and then move on. It may be that in March of next year, I take on another 3 or add 2 more, whatever. But let's just start out with something simple. If 3 is too much for you, just pick 1 and just concentrate on that. Nothing that you have failed at consistently in the past should be referenced the same way. So I want to lose weight because I want to look better, whatever. No, you're adding to your chance of failure. You need to change your entire mindset as to what you're telling your brain, your subconscious mind, and why you're doing it, because those two connect inside the brain a lot. Okay, visceral fat. There are many things that could cause visceral fat to recede, to go away. Exercise, diet, sleep, stress management. Lots of things there that destroy visceral fat. And I need to take a look at which ones do I have control over. Obviously, exercise, diet, sleep to a degree, stress, yes, but I need to look at what is affecting it. If I choose three and there's five other things that affect it, I may not lose it as quickly as I want, or I may get disappointed and say nothing's working and then just give up. So when you're picking something, do a little bit of research, find out what are the things out there that can compromise your goal. Visceral fat, other than just losing the weight, I'm going to be lowering my inflammation, improve my blood function, lower body fat, lower chronic disease risk, lots and lots and lots of things that if I get rid of my visceral fat, let's say I'm right now at a 12, I get that down to a 6. I'm now in a decent range for visceral fat. It's no longer being a major health issue on me, but I have a scale that I use that measures a lot of different things, and we'll talk about that down the road. But that's what I want to do. That's why I want to do it. I want to have a healthier retirement life. Turkey neck, basically, look better, younger, reduce the fat overall. Balance, well, that's something that I learned. Interestingly, I had knee surgery about 3-4 years ago, and I went through rehab and we did a bunch of stuff and recovered pretty quickly. But when I started to stand on that particular leg, I couldn't even stand on that second. That was really a long time. And it took me about 3 or 4 weeks where I could actually stand on that leg balanced, not holding on to anything, for about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. I eventually got up over a minute and then 2 minutes. But it's something I had to work at literally on a daily basis, almost hourly at the beginning. You just stand there, hold on to something, let it go. 1, 2, just count a little bit. Oh, I got up to 3 that time. But anyway, we have a tendency as we get older that our risk of falling increases significantly. Why? Because our balance is not as good as it used to be. I don't have the leg strength. I don't have the flexibility. I have a lot of things that I need to be able to do that I've done this forever. Now all of a sudden, I'm on the ground. Something just sitting on the floor and getting up. That can be almost impossible for some people. Stretching, make sure we have full range of motion. Climbing stairs, that's something you can easily look at if you're in a 2-story building or you happen to be working in a place or you're out in public. But a lot of it's awareness. What are you hampered with a little bit? What can be improved? What should be improved? Okay. Lots of things can help us depending on what our mission is in life. So if I want my 2025 goal to be healthier in a particular respect, let's say I want to have a more alkaline body to fight disease, pH paper becomes a significant piece of equipment. Very inexpensive. You can order them online. I order the kind, I touch it to my tongue, changes the color. I look at the color. Okay, fine. I know what my pH is. When your pH is alkaline, above literally 7, you have a built-in system in your body that wants to basically fight disease, not allow it to even get a hold. But if you're acidic, you're opening the door to a lot of things, cancer growth, a lot of other diseases. And part of that reason is that the foods we eat, if I'm eating fats and proteins and carbohydrates, and just my normal metabolism, it's going to turn my body into an acidic environment. If I'm eating fruits and vegetables, I am going to turn my body into more alkaline. So I need to increase my fruits and vegetables and decrease my carbs and fats and other things. So understanding what I need to do is there. So maybe I have a blood glucose issue. Maybe you need to do a little bit of research as to what causes it, what controls do you have. Blood pressure. I have a blood pressure issue. I take my blood pressure probably 3 to 6 times a day. I provide that information to my cardiologist. And in most cases, a pill works, but that's not what I want. I think taking care of my visceral fat, which will take care of my other fat, subcutaneous fat, will improve my blood pressure. I noticed that when I used to fly, if I kept my weight below 184, absolutely no problem with blood pressure. I'm a little above that, maybe 10 pounds above that now, but it's enough to have high blood pressure. Heart rate is something that I may want to check on. So I have to have an instrument that'll be able to determine what that is. I have a weight scale that has some metal circles on it. I stand on it barefoot. It sends a current through me, measures about 15 different things. And that's how I can get a measurement for what my visceral fat is, or my subcutaneous fat, or like I say, almost a dozen other things. Thermometer may be something you need. A blood oximeter, again, a fairly inexpensive item depending on what you're tracking. A sleep monitor, if you're having problems with sleep, maybe a sleep monitor is something you need to invest in. It's a watch, just like a smart watch, but it's going to keep track of what is the quality of your sleep. A lot of different home blood tests that you can do to get a good idea of what's changing over time. What other things should I consider? Well, I get an annual physical every year, flight physical from 1968 through 1999, and an annual physical every year since 1999 till I have one coming up next week, actually. A wellness check might be something that if your insurance doesn't pay for something, that might be an option that's cheaper. A nutrition assessment. How much of my vitamins and minerals am I getting from my food versus from supplements? Again, that's going to require just a little bit of research, but it's going to help you in the long run making decisions regarding, I don't want this right now, but I need this right now because that's what my body needs. So when you're at a restaurant or you're making a choice in a grocery store as to what you should have, those things help. Cost, I try to keep things as close to zero for me and for anybody else that I'm talking to. Many, many, many good success stories on YouTube. YouTube is probably a gold mine of information with regard to just about anything you want to achieve. I want to have an effective mindset change. That's why I'm doing this thing now in 2024, so that I'm making my change before I get to January 1st, 2025, when all my other New Year's resolutions started. If I've already accomplished my New Year's resolutions and they're part of my normal lifestyle in January, then I've achieved my goal for starting good health habits for next year. Or I may not get the good ones out, but maybe I'm really reducing the bad ones. You know, what's failed in the past, what's worked. A full understanding of the consequences. Back in the probably 94 timeframe, I read 5 or maybe 6 different books on Atkins. And I changed my lifestyle. I went on 0 carbs, literally maybe at most 10 grams a day. And I lost 7 inches of my gut in 3 months. I lost 40, 45 pounds, literally in just a couple, 3 or 4 months. Kept it off for years. I was living in Germany for a couple of those years. I drive down to Italy for a long weekend. Boom, pasta, bread, everything. Carbs went out the gazoo. I come back, I'm 12 pounds heavier. 2 weeks later, I'm back at right exactly what I was. So I did a lot of research on it. I knew my risks, but I didn't understand what wasn't in the book. The problem I had was I retired from the Navy in '99. I had my very first ever bone density test and found out that I was osteopenia. I said, how in the world can that happen? I've been a weightlifter for literally decades, a runner for decades, and all of a sudden I have a problem with osteopenia. I couldn't figure it out. So a little bit of research, and I found out what causes calcium to go into the bones, what causes calcium to come out of the bones. And the Atkins diet that I had been on for about 6 years was highly acidic, caused my blood to pull calcium from the bones in order to maintain normal levels of normal pH levels. And that wasn't something I was aware of. In the books, they don't talk about it. In the books, if you follow it, you might not have as severe an acidic condition as I had. But once I understood what was there, I had to change the way I was eating to overcome the osteopenia. I think we all should look at a serious personal assessment today. And this is something you can just start thinking about. How much stress am I? Most of us don't even realize our stress. How much exercise am I doing? Where am I eating? Lots and lots and lots of things can be assessed just by thinking. So it's what can you or what should you do to change? And something easy. Me, 3 things: snacks, timing, and alcohol. Okay, snacks, too many carbohydrates. Timing, I choose to eat snacks after 6 p.m. Not a good idea. I'm eating one meal a day most of the time, but sometimes 6, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, I may go in there and grab something to eat that I shouldn't. And maybe I have a glass or two of alcohol too much. So I know that those things are all issues that are going to affect my visceral fat. I need to address them, but I know what they are, personal assessment. Other things that people might have, their food choices. If you're having Italian and Mexican and Chinese food all the time, and it's loaded with carbohydrates, maybe that's not the best lifestyle to be on if you want to lose weight. The timing, you can eat the exact same thing in 3 different meals or one time a day. Eating 1 time a day, you will lose weight versus eating 3 times a day, even if it's exactly the same food. Is because the amount of time our body has to process it. Our nutrition, where are we getting it from? Am I deficient in something? Lots and lots of people are deficient in many things, vitamin D3, magnesium, for instance, B12. Anyway, how much exercise am I doing? Is it what is appropriate for what my goal is? That's really consistent. If I'm doing very low impact, but not aerobically, yeah, that may be good for one thing. Walking may be a great one. I'm outside in fresh air and sunshine, but depending on what my goal is, I may need to change part of that. I want to be able to have better balance. So I need a little bit more in the area of balance and stretching and leg strength and things like that. What options do I have when I go to a fast food option? Maybe I don't have the bread on. I just have it put on the plate and I eat my burger with whatever salads put on there, but I leave the bread off. Let's find a stress program that is something that's easy to do. You can do it in the car while you're driving. You can do it at home when there's a commercial on TV. Is your sleep the level of quality you need? Again, there's a lot of ways of determining that. So my goal is to have my audience start implementing change in November. That's a couple of weeks from now. And that allows us 60 days to make those incremental changes that we're talking about. And if we're making them and they're consistent, then they're easy to do or they're easy not to do. And we can start making progress on 2025 before it gets here. So we record the data, and depending on what we're doing, it may be a daily data or maybe weekly. Blood pressure, I'm doing right now a minimum of 3 times a day, most likely 4, 5, 6. But I don't need to do blood pressure once a week. But if I'm weighing myself or taking measurements of my inches around my gut, once a week is probably fine for something like that. So take a look at what you're actually collecting and recording and how often you're doing it. Okay. There are other factors that may actually creep out as we're doing things. So I'm looking at now, I'm really changed my eating habits at the house already with regard to my food choices, more in the line of salads. I don't think I have it on this slide, probably the next one. Talk about that when I get to it. And if I'm not eating out for something, I have a certain amount of dollars saved. I can take a look at my bank statement. Okay, there's a Wendy's, there's a McDonald's, there's a whatever it is. It's easy to see the fast food places or the restaurants and how much I spent. Well, that should be able to see a change in dollars saved. Maybe I need to look at fat loss inches rather than pounds lost, because if I'm starting exercise, my muscle weighs more than my fat. And so I may actually gain some weight, but I'm going to look a lot thinner. So there may be some other ones. It takes me forever to walk up 3 flights of stairs. Well, how long does it take you to get up off the floor? How long does it take you to get out of the car? As we get older, these things become more a pain in the butt. And so there may also be some dollars spent on a better quality food, but depending on the quantity you put on the plate, you may actually end up spending less. Eating more salads, Wall's protocol. I'm getting toward the end of the thing. I think this is probably a good place to leave it. Pick this up next time, because the Wall's protocol is something I actually do want to spend a little bit of time on for somebody wanting to lose weight or improve their health. This is a significant improvement in those areas. So with that, I am going to get ready to sign off. And here, boom, boom. Okay, that's the next slide anyway. No matter what, you can do it, red.olaughlin.com or red.olaughlin@gmail.com, and my website, red.olaughlin.com. So with that, Red O'Laughlin signing off. I will catch you next week on Talking Heads, and we will start actually putting together a dashboard and testing it and see how it works. Take care, you all. Bye now.